So we've got our piston rings here.
Yep.
A piston right up here. We've got a brand new one.
Yep.
And
we got new old stock rings.
And this is the, so we can grind the piston rings right here. We've got it clamped down to the table. And so we were talking about, I like to do one side of the gap at
Me
either
too.
time.
It's just too hard to try to hold them together and do it, especially when you're doing it by yourself.
Yeah, and you're doing that, and we're not, we're not in a factory.
Nope, we're just here to take our time. And so quite a few things you have to check when it comes to fitting piston rings. Not only do they need to fit the diameter of the bore properly, they need to fit the grooves of the piston properly. And I always like to point out, too, to follow the instructions that come with your rings. The first thing I'm going to do is check the fit in the groove of the piston, and that is a dimension you look up in the book, and you should be able to fit a 2/1000 feeler gauge, but not a 4.
Not a 4, so that's our tolerance.
A go and a no-go.
2/1000 to a 4.
So, make this easier for the camera, I'll come in here with the 2/1000s, and I can fit the ring in the groove.
Excellent.
And then I come in here with the 4, and I can't.
And you can't. That's beautiful. You know what's interesting? Between 2 and 4, 3/1000ths of an inch.
About the thickness of the sheet of typing paper.
Sheet of typing paper, yeah.
So now we know that we're good for fitting for groove clearance. So now I'm going to fit the piston or the ring into the bore, and then I like to use a piston.
Pretty new pistons.
Now I've been pushing them down to about that point.
Okay.
I want to have each bore done, have them all positioned in the same place in the bore. I'm going to come in here with a feeler gauge, and the dimension they give you for ring end gap is 13 to 29 thousandths.
13 to 20, which is a pretty good variation.
That's a pretty good range. I typically go 5 thousandths per inch of bore diameter, which puts me at 20. And I feel comfortable with that number.
Okay.
So
I do too. I think with this being a 60 over engine and the diameter on there. So let's go ahead and check that out.
So I got my 3 feelers here. I got 18 thousandths, 20, and 22. So I use the 18 and know I'm getting close.
Yeah. Just kind of incrementally go up on that.
And I'm feeling it, and I can't get the 18 in. So bring this out.
So we're going to get that, and that's a really neat piece right here. This is another one of kind of the vintage tools that we.
Yeah, and this is still a tool that you can buy new.
Yeah,
it's a traditional engine building tool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what you want to do is make sure that you have the ring square to the grinding wheel, and
just slowly inchworm it.
Yeah, and then I flip it over to get to the other side of it. You want to take about equal amount off of both sides. And sometimes you'll find that you'll get a set of rings that you don't have to file. They just happen to fit perfect to begin with. They fit within tolerance. And we're still a little tight. This is just a time-consuming precision. This is a nice thing to sit and do on a
rainy day.
On a rainy day like we have today, or a quiet afternoon. Okay, the 18 thousandths fits.
Okay.
And 20 just tight. So I'm going to call this ring good.
I like it. I like it. So we've got a whole bunch more rings to do. So we'll be back in just a bit.
So now we're ready to install the piston rings onto the piston. And I like to start at the bottom groove. So we have the oil ring expander spring, and that fits on. And what you want to make sure that the ends butt together and they're not overlapping each other. And they suggest here in the instructions to line up with the wrist pin. And we have our first oil control ring. So we want to have it offset from the gap. So we know the gap is right here. So we will work this ring onto the piston. And I will check it to make sure it's sitting where it should. And our second ring will be offset to the other side. So we want to make sure that our expander is still butted, not overlapped, and that the two rings are fitting in the recesses allowed for them, which they are. So now we'll take our second groove ring, dots up in this particular application. Expand it around, there we go. And our top ring, which we want the gaps oriented away from one another. And we'll check the orientation of the gaps when we go to actually put these into the cylinder. So there we have our piston with all of its rings installed, now ready to be installed into the block.
So back at the engine block here, we've already gotten together and we've put in 7 of the 8 pistons. So what we're going to do is we saved piston cylinder number 1 that we're going to go ahead and put in here. So we're going to show you kind of the process that we've done. So we're going to repeat it. So we've got our new pistons here, which came out of the kit from Caddy Daddy. I'm going to remove the nuts on here. No! And what we've done is we positioned it where both Josh and I have done these by ourselves with engines. It's kind of, you know, makes it a little quicker. We've got it turned where I'm facing the top where I can put the piston in, and then you can guide it in.
And I can guide the bolts around the journal and then install the bearings and check clearances and put everything back together for final torque.
So you slide that off there. That's good. It's a tight fit. So I'm going to hand that to you because it's on your side.
That goes on my side.
So we've got that, and it has the rings, and we have our oil ring right here. So what we have to do is, first of all, we like to oil it up a little bit. So we've got our little cup, you know, there. I'm gonna grab a rag.
This will be the initial lubrication when we go to break the engine in.
One thing to note too is these are directional. When you get a set of these pistons from our kit, they'll be numbered and also be identified of what direction. Actually cast in, it says rear. And so that would go to the rear of the engine block, which would be right here. So let's go ahead and turn that. If you want to hold that.
I'll hold on to that while you put the compressor on.
And so what this is, we got our ring compressor. Is that open? And this is just sheet metal piece. It's just a simple one. It's readily available. Mm-hmm. And you want to make sure, sometimes these guys want to jump around. Let me open that one up just a little bit more.
There you go, Bob.
There we go. And you want to make sure it's straight, because of that, this acts also too as the guide that goes into the engine block. So from your end, can you see it? I kind of use a reference line at the bottom of that piston.
Yeah, go ahead and start tightening it up.
Okay.
You want to watch the overlap too, that it stays square.
Now you don't have to crank it down. Get it nice and snug and look at it. Make sure it's nice.
Okay, you have a little bit more tightness there, Bob.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay, let me set this down.
Let you hold on to that here and let me prepare.
And then get yourself prepped. Right.
So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that surface is clean on both the bearing insert and the rod. Insert this side. Then we have these little plastic protectors that go over the bolts.
Put a little bit of oil on that one bolt too.
I'll get them when we stick it through. These get a little bit hard to handle when they're oily.
What this does is it prevents, when you're putting the piston and the rod in there, from anything scoring or hitting that nice new machine work that we have.
Especially important when you're doing it by yourself and you don't have somebody to guide it. And if you don't have the little covers from the bearing supplier, you can use some plastic tubing. Anything that you can slip on and off easily that's not too thick, that'll interfere with the clearance around the main journal.
And we've both done a little improvising on that in the past. Yeah. So what I do is take this and slightly, very carefully, put it into the cylinder. You want to denote your orientation. And one way that you can see, even though it is cast and it does say rear on the pistons, you'll look and see that it's consistent. There is a engraving on the face of the piston. So if you look, compare it to your other ones and make sure, because sometimes you get going. This can be time consuming when you're doing 8 of these. Just make sure that you're consistent, go slow,
Just
make
take
it
your
right.
time.
Okay, so now that you're on that side,
Yep.
so we've got this up in the cylinder. So I'm going to take just a rubber butt of a hammer, this rubber right here, and just like many other things that we do when we're doing this, listen. Sounds will tell you. If it binds up, and look at, once we get in there,
We're in.
slides right off. And that's the way to know that you're in. So with that, how far do we have to go there?
Well, you can go ahead and knock that in another few inches. And I'm guiding the journal around the crank. And right there.
And you can hear the sound.
So now I can pull these off. Apply a little bit of oil to the threads so they torque evenly. And so here we have the cap and the bearing insert. Small amount of grease here, and that's just going to hold our little strip of plastic gauge.
And you'll recall that we used that earlier in the engine building.
Yeah, we used this earlier to check the clearances on these bearings, and we've done this on all the other connecting rods. So here we have the plastic gauge laid here on the bearing. If you'll notice, you'll see a little cutout right here, and the hole in the bearing material. That's for the oil squirter hole that lubricates the cylinder and up onto the camshaft area. So that's part of the lubrication system. Is when this lines up with the hole in the journal on the crank, it'll squirt a little oil around the engine. So you want to make sure these are put back on in the same as the main caps in the right direction, and these were all numbered. I believe they're numbered at the factory even.
And then,
And if they're not numbered, then when you take the engine apart, you should ensure that both the rod and its cap are both numbered, so that you can assemble everything back in a matched pair.
and we're going to go ahead and torque these to the specifications because we're going to be closing this up. You're not going to ever see inside here, hopefully, ever again. So
This will be the last. We'll torque this down, and we will read that plastic gauge. Okay, here we go. Looks pretty good. We've gotten kind of used to how these are supposed to look.
but you do still have your comparative gauge on the packaging.
It's about 1.5 thousandths, a little more than 1.5 thousandths. So that
And
is
that's consistent. That's consistent for what we had on the other cylinders. So let's go ahead and put that last cap on there.
okay. Let me get some assembly lube back in here. Now that I've pushed that piston up, I can very carefully now guide it off the journal. Which will allow me to apply the assembly lube onto this. I'll go ahead, Bob, and take your hammer and give that a little tap back down for me.
All right. Great.
Yep. Okay, easy. There we go. Go ahead.
There you
Go ahead, more. Keep it going.
There you go. You can hear it.
Now for the last time.
Yeah, and double check what and our torque specification for this guy?
Is between 40 and 45. We always check because there's changes depending on the year. Okay,
Now we got a bottom end.
Vine Village is a great organization that gives back to the community. Check it out. You'll see so as well. Thanks for watching.
Hi, my name is Sonnen Kirsten. We're here at the 2018 Vine Village Celebration, our major fundraiser here that helps fund programs that we run for people with developmental disabilities here in the greater Napa community. Vine Village was founded by my family and another family, each who had children with disabilities, in 1972. We depend on donations from all sorts of foundations and individuals and businesses throughout our community to help fund these programs, and this is our biggest fundraiser of the year.
Well, congratulations. You've reached the end of one of our videos. Now we've got more. Maybe you could click on one of these ones here and I can get out of the shop one of these days.